Hey, what's up guys? Sir Emanon here, bringing to you today another TCG tournament feature match. This is going to be round 2, where we have Rockets up against Blackwings. And if you guys are unfamiliar with what this is, basically about a month ago on my Discord server, I hosted an online dueling book TCG tournament, basically just standard, no other rules attached. Basically just as if you were to go to a locals or regionals. It was very much a similar environment, but just on an online tournament setting, so you guys get a chance to interact with one another and test out the format and things of that nature. So if this is interesting to you, if you are if you want to participate, go ahead and check out the link in the description to my Discord server, because I'm currently hosting signups for the second edition of this tournament. So definitely go ahead and sign up. The deadline is by Friday, March 20th at 11:59 p.m. EST. So if you want to go ahead and check that out, we'd love to have you. So anyways, this is, like I said, going to be Rockets up against Blackwings. So a pretty interesting matchup. We got one of the more rogue picks in this tournament, and he actually ended up barely missing on top cut with Blackwings, but he actually did pretty well overall in the tournament. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. So pretty good hand from Rockets here, because you have Rocket plus Router, which is full combo, and Quick Launch, which is another extender. Keeper is also like a good way to go into Striker Dragon, so you can like do that and then like extend with Quick Launch. Or do Tracer plus Router and then extend with Quick Launch afterward. You can do like a bunch of different things. And then this hand, it kind of just depends on how good the Allure of Darkness and the Desires draws are, because right now the hand isn't like super spectacular, but there is a lot of draw power. And no Ash or Drill or anything like that. So yeah, Allure is going to go ahead and draw a copy of Chris and a copy of Fobblade. And he's actually going to choose to banish GD Crow. I've actually watched this replay a couple times already, so I think what he meant to do was discard a Blackwing, either the Gale or the Chris, so he can revive it off the Austria when he normal summons it, and then keep the Crow in hand, just as an extra interrupt. So I think he realizes it later, but yeah. We're going to go ahead and activate Paw of Desires next, and then Desires will go ahead and pick up another Fob Blade and a copy of Black Whirlwind, which is really good for this hand, just getting extra resources, of course. Whirlwind will come down, and then he'll normal summon the copy of Oster, which would bring back a banished Blackwing, but unfortunately he banished DD Crow instead. But Whirlwind will still trigger grabbing a Gladius Midnight Sun, which is just another extender if you control exactly one Blackwing. So he's going to special the Gladius, special the Chris, special the Gale, which both of them can just special themselves if you have Blackwings, in case you're unfamiliar with what the Blackwing cards do. But yeah, there's free special summons. So yeah, he's going to go ahead and synchro summon his 3 Blackwings, everything but Oster, into a copy of Blackwing Full Armor Master. And this is essentially just a Towers, where it's unaffected by card effects. And then if your opponent's monsters activate effects on the field, you can place wedge counters on them. And then during your own turn, as an ignition effect, you can target a monster with a wedge counter and then take control of it. So it's pretty good. And you can also blow up everything that has a wedge counter during the end phase. So you can like steal a monster, use it to attack, and then like sync or link it away, and then pop everything else on your opponent's board, which is pretty good. Like if you're able to get that far and not have this card be outed, it's a pretty good win condition against decks that aren't prepared to out this card. Just that definitely gets better actually under Master Rule 5, of course, because you're able to just synchro summon wherever you wish. But also it's good with Dual Overload, because Ystrix is a card that helps this deck as well. This is another deck that can make use out of it. And you can actually summon Zephyros in the Blackwing deck. Weirdly enough, you can actually summon Blackwing Zephyros Elite in Blackwings. But yeah, you can like use Blackwing to bounce like Whirlwind, and then like reactivate Whirlwind if you like use Simoon to like use it to use the extra normal summon. Do cool plays like that. There's a lot of like interesting stuff you could do. But he's gonna set double Fob Blade, and ideally he would have had a Crow in hand as well, which would have been nice against this setup. But alas, that is not what happened. For turn, Rocket draws Ash, which is always on time. So he's going to go ahead and start off by normal summoning this Keeper, and then Keeper will go into Striker Dragon, and then Blackwing will go ahead and Fobblade, or Hugo will go ahead and Fobblade the Striker Dragon, which I don't think is an incorrect play, because Striker Dragon getting you boots after launch is like one of the most key extenders. Like boot sector launch is really important, like because a lot of the combos require you to like get tracer to hand by some means, either by like hard drawing router and like using it in the combo with like router plus any rocket, or you can go ahead and summon, if you have any way to summon what's it called, Romulus, you can search Ravine and then dump router that way and then get boot sector launch afterward. So I think that it's not necessarily an incorrect play because like you need boot sector launch to continue into the guard dragon stuff, but it just so happens that he already drew boot sector launch, so it's kind of unfortunate. But the follow-up is going to be quick launch into a copy of Rokket Recharger, and then he's going to go and special summon router because it controls a rocket monster, and then go ahead and link summon into a copy of Dragoon Unit Romulus to go ahead and search off of the Romulus and the router. So router will grab him a copy of Magna Rocket, and Romulus will grab a copy of Ravine. So this Ravine here is just kind of there as an extra extender. It's not really needed super badly, but like you can dump Destrudo and stuff if you want to. But he already has like router access and keeper access, so like it's not like that essential, but really just being able to get into the boot sector launch is important because boot will summon the Magna and the Tracer out of hand, and then Recharge will go into LP, Magna will go into Striker Dragon. So this is a common play in this deck. You don't want to use the Magna to go into Pisty, because if you summon LP or summon off LP, then you have to like do really weird stuff in order to make the arrows work with Pisty. There's a lot of plays where instead of Romulus being here, you have Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres. So you don't want to link that away into like a triple burst just to like make the Pisty arrow work. It also plays around Ghost Ogre if you have this particular link setup. And the way that you make this combo work, as you're about to see, is you use Striker Dragon to pop itself, and then you summon Red MD off the LP. Red MD brings back a level 4 lower dragon, and then that goes to Pissy where the Striker Dragon was, and then you link away the Red MD and the LP into Delindrous on the left so that Pissy still has arrows to point to. And you'll see what I mean. But I am actually very familiar with this deck because it's played a lot at my locals, and that is in large part because the winner of the UDS with this deck, Shimping, goes to my locals. So a lot of people play this deck, so I'm very familiar with this. So yeah. Okay, also, there should be wedge counters on these, but they're going to just worry about it later. So LB will bring out Red MD. Red MD will bring back Magna Rocket. And then Striker will go ahead and target itself and the Recharger. So it pops itself and then adds the Recharger back to hand. He could activate Recharger, but there's no point. So he's going to use the Magna, the one he brought back off the Red MD, into Pisty, and then use the LP and the Red MD to Delindrous Dragon. So as you can see, Pisty and Romulus both point to the same zone. So that's why like the arrows are a lot more favorable if you do it in that configuration. It looks kind of weird, but like having it this way instead of like LP Pisty is like it allows you to not have to like use triple burst in like really awkward ways. You can just reserve it for what you want to do, which is pop it with Quad Boro and like soul charge for 3. Basically, Pissy will bring out Red MD. Red MD will bring out Magna Rocket again, and then he'll go ahead and go into Borosaur because he can actually use this to get over the Full Armor Master, because even though it's unaffected by card effects, Borosaur's effect is to gain half the attack first, and then if it does, it attempts to halve the attack of the opponent's monster. So what would happen against this would be it gains 1500 attack, and then this doesn't do anything, but it'll still be 4500, so it just beats over the Full Armor Master. And that's why if you're going against like a backer deck and they have like Waking the Dragon, they normally don't summon Ultimate Falcon anymore, just because this is such a clean out to it. Like a lot of decks would opt for cards like what is it, Naturia Exterio or Last Warrior from Another Planet. So those are a lot better in a lot of cases to summon off the Waking the Dragon, and this is like one of the big reasons why. So Borosaur comes down here, and then he can go ahead and make use a Tracer to target the Boot Sector launch and summon the Silver Rocket out of the deck. Next, he can go for Delindrous because a Rocket was special summoned to his field. So yeah, gonna go ahead and make a Savage Dragon next with the Tracer and the Silver. Savage will go ahead and target not a target, but equip Romulus. But in response to that, Hugo is going to utilize the Fall Blade. He's not going to target Savage here. He's actually going to target his own Full Armor Master, because even though it's unaffected by card effects, basically the clause that states that Also, monsters cannot target face-up monster for attacks is a clause that doesn't specifically affect the monster that is targeted by the Fall Blade, but it affects all the other monsters that would attempt to try and attack it. Like they just simply cannot. So it doesn't necessarily affect the player, but like it's kind of a parallel to that, where it affects just the ability of other monsters to perform actions rather than the actual monster being targeted. So that's why even though former master is unaffected, it still gains like the protection, so to speak, because Fallblade isn't actually bestowing the protection itself. It just provides that like condition on other monsters. So hopefully that made enough sense. So yeah, go ahead and use Savage to equip the Romulus. Gain 2 Boral counters, and then Red MD, excuse me, Red MD and Magnum Rocket, and Delindrus will go into Unchained Abomination. So this is kind of the out to the Fall Blade, because even though he can't attack the Full Armor Master, he can attack the Oster, and then Unchained Abomination has an effect where if a monster is destroyed by battle, you can target any card in the field and destroy it. So he can target the Fall Blade, pop it, and then this can be attacked again. So a bit unfortunate, because all these monsters are just huge. So Boral Savage will go ahead and attack the Oster. The Fall Blade will die, and then Boros will attack. It'll gain 1500. Abomination will attack for 3k, and then Boros will attack after switching the Savage to defense, and that'll be 45. So this will be 7500 when he's at 57. So this is definitely a game here. So yeah, I don't think the first Fall Blade was necessarily bad. It was just kind of he had the what's it called? He had the boot sector already, so if he didn't, then it would have just depended on how far he was able to extend. Because boot sector is actually really important in a lot of those cases. So it would have depended on what that card was instead. But we're going into game 2 here, and unfortunately for Blackwings, the hand is not very, very powerful. You never really want to normal summon Gale, but that's like his only real play with the Whirlwind. So yeah, he's going to activate Black Whirlwind, normal summon Gale, search for a copy of Gladius, and then special the Gladius, go into an IP Masquerena, and then use Reborn on the Gladius so he has like a Unicorn play. And he is forced to keep one of the cards in his hand so he can have Unicorn. But he's going to set Fall Blade and pass. And for turn, Rokket is going to draw a second copy of Mystic Mine. She's going to activate Mine, and Hugo opts to not chain Masquerena to reduce the number of monsters on his field. I think he just wants to like wait out until he has an out, and then like use like the link materials on board to like actually make something better than like make a bigger board, like a bigger push if he like is able to out the Mystic Mine. But he already had a second one anyway, so wouldn't have mattered too much. He's gonna normal summon Safer, and he also likes to not use Fall Blade on Safer, which I think is correct because like attacking into IP is kind of just a bonus. And like it probably would have not like stayed alive. Like he could have just gone main phase 2, tribute Cypher for cost, not tribute but send it for cost, and then it won't be on the field, so Fall Blade will like not even stop its effect, and they could just keep the Mystic Mine on there and just pass a bunch of times, like try again next turn basically. So yeah, plus like you just like link away the Cypher anyway, but the fact that you could activate it to send itself, and then like the Fall Blade won't be attached or targeted, or the Fall Blade won't have a target anymore on the field to affect it. That's kind of like why it's not like that great in that scenario. So he's gonna banish the Safer to summon the Collapse Serpent, and then Collapse Serpent will go into a Striker Dragon, which will activate to search for a Boot Sector launch, and Black Dragon will search for White Dragon. He opts not to use Fall Blade this time, even though like in this hand it probably would have been okay. Actually no, he had enough extenders. Well, no, because he already normal summoned, right? So I think in this hand it would have been fine if he used the Fall Blade on Striker, but I guess he was kind of not wanting to do it after the first game. He's gonna set the Boot Sector, and he's gonna go ahead and summon White Dragon, go into a copy of Erratic Seal, and then he's gonna go and activate the Boot Sector launch to summon the Tracer out of the hand. And then he's going to go ahead and make an LP. And this is going to be a really heads-up play. He's going to summon World Legacy Guard Dragon. And instead of making the Striker Dragon to the left of LP, which I said was a standard play in the last game, he's actually going to use the World Legacy Guard Dragon to move the LP. And why that's good is that he's reading that this is a Fog Blade. So when he uses LP, Fall Blade will be chained to it, but that's actually totally fine because what you do is you just use Tracer here to put Pisty in the leftmost zone under the Hermetic Seal, and you'll still have the zones for Seals and LP that both point to the same zone, so you can still use Pisty. Whereas if you had a Striker Dragon, like over there, then you would have like not been able to make Pisty afterward, and you would kind of just been stuck. So you would have bottlenecked yourself into that play. Like you would have like relied on LP resolving, but he read the Fob Blade, and that was a very good read. So Tracer will go into Pisty, and then Pisty will bring back the Red MD, or not Red MD, so the Tracer. So here's where I think he makes a bit of a misplay, because he can't kill Hugo this turn, so he's going to just try and set up a board. But I think that he could have ended on a bit of a better board. So he goes into Delindrous with LP and Pisty. But here, I think what he should have done was use Tracer to pop World Legacy Guard Dragon, and then summon any of the Rockets from his deck. And then he could have made what is it, Quad Boral with the Tracer and whatever he brought out off Tracer, and then use Quad Boral to pop the Delindrous. But what he does here instead is that he makes Quad Boral with the Delindrous and the Tracer instead, which kind of just gets rid of extra materials. And he only has one Rocket in circulation right now, so like even if he uses Quad Boral, he's only summoning back a singular Tracer. So he's gonna use Quad Boral to pop itself by pitching the Keeper, and he'll bring back Tracer, and then Keeper and Delindrous both trigger because Delindrous triggers because a Rocket was summoned, and then Keeper triggers because a Dragon was destroyed via card effect. So those will both come back. But if he did the play that I described, which was like he would have had Delindrous plus the Quad Boral, which was made with the Tracer plus whatever Tracer brought out using its own effect, you would have been able to have Quad Boral, pitch Keeper, pop Delindrous, and then the Quad Boral would have summoned back the Tracer plus like whatever Rocket. Let's say like, it was like Silver, so he would have Quad Boral, pop Delindrous by pitching the Keeper to bring back Silver and Tracer, and then Keeper will be brought back, and so will Delindrous, because it's the same situation as this. So he'll have a board of Delindrous, Quad, 2 Rockets, and a Keeper, I do believe. So yeah, this would have been a way for him to actually go into Boral Savage with these two, and there would still be a Quad Boral here, so we could have made Abomination with the Quad Boral and the Delindrous. So his end board would be Abomination plus Silver plus Boral Savage. So you could rip a card out of the extra deck if you wanted to. Yeah, you could rip the card out of the extra deck and then use Abomination's other effect to pop Whirlwind anyway, which is what he's going to do. So he's going to just make Abomination. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. But end phase is going to just pop Whirlwind. So if the board was like what it should be, which is a Savage on top of this, he would go Unchained Abomination, target Silver Rocket, chain Silver Rocket to destroy itself, rip one out of the extra deck, and then Resolution, Abomination will trigger, popping the Whirlwind, and then end phase, Silver will bring out Tracer, and also have a Savage Dragon on top of that. So like, that would have been good because he would have been able to negate this Desires that was ripped off the top here by Blackwings. But unfortunately, it doesn't really bring too much because there's no tuners, so he can't really make anything useful. And he just sets a bunch of cards, but during the end phase, he's going to clear the entire board, so Seals will go ahead and tribute itself to bounce the Gladius. And then the Seal Graveyard effect will bring out Tracer. Tracer will target it's either Boot or no, he targets what's it called, Silver Rocket, to bring out a Recharger. And then since Silver Rocket was destroyed, Abomination triggers to pop Call by the Grave, and then Abomination's end phase effect will pop the Bora. So yeah, very, very good position here. And then Silver in the end phase also triggers to float into Magna. So very, very strong field here. He drew Red MD for turn, so you can just banish a monster, summon Red MD, summon something back, or Tracer summon back, or summon Magna Rocket, and then go for a Spore Savage, and that'll be game right there. So yeah, there's definitely enough damage, and that wasn't enough summons for Nibiru. It was only 3 summons. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this game, and that's kind of like why, even though like when you win games, it's always nice to look back and see if there's stuff you could have done better. Similar to what I like to do in my Road to 1000 Olympic rating series. Even though like I post a lot of winning games, like I make mistakes in most of those games. So I try and like bring those misplays to light so you guys can learn from them, and I can learn from them as well. And here, like even though like there was a like it was a pretty convincing victory here. There was still optimal plays to be had where he could have ended on a bit of a stronger board. Like that Desires could have ripped into something like insane. Like it could have been, I don't know, like a Dark Ruler or something. It could be like Dark Ruler plus a tuner or something. So yeah, just like any way to make sure that you are able to like be as efficient as you can is like very, very good. So yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like as well as any thoughts or feedback in the comment section down below. Feel free to subscribe for more informative and competitive Yu-Gi-Oh content. If you want to, you can follow me on Discord, Twitter, or Twitch. All 3 links in the description as always. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I will catch you in the next video. See you guys!